Hi guys, I hope you're all keeping well and safe. Welcome to Early Years Matters TV. On this channel, we focus on everything early childhood related. And if these are the kind of videos you're looking for, or you have to kindly subscribe. Not just only subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that whenever a new video is being dropped on this channel, you definitely be the first person to be notified. Today, I'm starting on a new series called Holistic Development in Early Childhood. For the past few weeks on this channel, I've been focusing on pedagogy in early childhood education. Now I'm done with that series of pedagogy. If you want to know more about what is pedagogy, you can look at my past videos. This channel, I focus on pedagogy in early childhood. So today, I'm starting another series called Holistic Development in Early Childhood Education. I hope you go on this journey of this series with me. So let me start by defining holistic. So what is holistic? Perhaps you're an imagined early childhood educator or even early childhood educator. You don't have an understanding of what holistic development in early childhood is all about. Don't worry, I'm going to break it down. Perhaps at the end of this series, you'll have a general understanding of what holistic development in early childhood is all about. So when you hear the word holistic is taking a total approach to child development. So holistic development is all about taking a total approach to child development. It's not focusing on one strand of child development. So in early childhood, we have the different types of development. We have, for instance, the physical, intellectual, the language, the emotional, the social, the cultural development. Next few videos, I'm going to break this down. So I just want you to have a general understanding of what holistic is all about. So holistic development is taking a total approach to child development. So you're not looking at one strand. For instance, you're not just focusing on the physical development of the young child. You're focusing on every aspect of the child's development, not leaving one strand behind. So this is what holistic is all about. It's taking a total approach to child development. And I'm sure your next item is going to be, how is this going to be possible? I'm going to break it down. Don't worry. Holistic is taking a total approach to child development, our whole approach to child development. So when we talk about whole, you're looking at something as a whole. You're looking at it in total. You're not focusing on one aspect of that thing that you're talking about. So holistic is taking a total approach to child development. You're looking at the whole child development, young child, leaving no strand behind. So I'm going to explain to you. So for instance, for children's play. So for instance, maybe you want to read them a story. Okay, story sharing. This is what you're going to do with the children. So you have to think about the story sharing, how you can use this to promote the overall development of the young child. So this is why planning is important. You're not just going to decide on Monday morning, well, I'm reading the children a story and that is it. So you have to think about how you're going to use the storytelling or overall development of the young child. You're not just looking at, okay, storytelling for the purpose of language development, which is the norms. For instance, you're reading the children a story, you want the development, the non-verbal or verbal communication. But you have to look at it in terms of holistic, promoting the overall development of the young child. So I'm going to use storytelling to promote the overall development of the young child. So this is in your thinking ahead. Okay, storytelling, I'm going to share children. So now, let me now think about how I'm going to use storytelling to promote the overall development of the young child. So for instance, you have to think about the book. So are you going to select the book to promote the background of some of the children in your early childhood classroom? So maybe, for instance, you're starting a series in your early childhood classroom of reading a story. So consider the children in your early childhood classroom. So are you going to be reading a story about their background? So you can tick the box in relation to cultural development. So I'm going to select a story in line with the children's culture. So I'm starting with a child. Okay, I'm going to start with a move over to all the children. So now you're thinking ahead. So you're going to select a book that promotes background. So you've ticked the box in the aspect of cultural development. Or for instance, you want to teach a particular religion in your early childhood classroom. Maybe you have a child, maybe by talking about the Catholic. So you want to get a book about the Catholic or a book that promotes the Catholic culture. So you can tick the box, that spiritual development then. So now you have the book that you're going to select. think of the holistic development of the young child. So let's start with the physical development. So in relation to physical development, you're going to encourage the children to feel the texture of the book, of the storybook. The texture of the storybook, they're using the tips, which is fine motor skills, and which in turn is physical development. So you're strengthening their fine, you're strengthening, so which will promote the physical development. So you can tick the box in relation to physical development. So now let's talk about intellectual or cognitive development. During the storytelling session, you're pausing, you're giving your action, or you're asking them question, they're going to pause, they're going to use their imagination, their brain to think. So for instance, if you ask them the question, if you ask them, think is going to happen in the next page. So they have to pause, they have to think. They don't have an idea of what is going to happen in the next page. Perhaps maybe this is the first piece in the story to them. So they're going to follow the sequence, they are going to think, they are going to guess. This has to do with the young children using their imagination to tell you what they think is going to happen in the next page. So you can tick the box in relation to intellectual or cognitive development. So now let's talk about language development, which is obvious. You're asking them questions. They're going to reply you back either in words or using their facial expressions. So you're asking them questions, for instance, do you like the story? They're going to answer you, or through their facial expression, they will tell you whether they like the story or not. So you can also tick the box in relation to language development. So now emotional development is all about the children expressing their feelings. So they're expressing their feelings. For instance, you're asking them questions, do you like the storybook? They'll be able to express through their posture, their facial expression, even in words, telling you they don't like the story. When they're smiling, they're giggling, they're frowning, their faces. It's all about the young children expressing their emotion through storytelling. Development, they're in the midst of their peers, you're reading them a story, they're talking to their friends, they're engaging in conversation with their friend. This in turn will promote social development. This in turn will promote development. If you're reading the story, maybe for instance, you want to promote a religion in your early childhood classroom, or you want to promote culture in your early childhood classroom. So can you now see that you've actually used storytelling to promote the overall development of the young child? So this has to do with you thinking, yes, I want to promote the culture in my early childhood classroom. You have a motive, taking into consideration the children's background, where they're coming from. But you have to think of how you're going to use the story to promote the overall development of the young child. This is what holistic development, this is strand behind. You're not thinking, well, it's just language development I want to focus on. The next time I can focus on the physical development of the young child. So have you heard the saying of using one stone to kill two birds? So that's exactly what you're doing. You have a motive, you want to read promoting the children's culture, but you're thinking of the overall development of the young child. How are you going to use storytelling to promote the overall development of the young child? Thinking of the holistic development of the young child. So can you now see that it's so simple? Perhaps you might be thinking, how is this possible? How is it possible for me to promote the overall development of the young child using one activity? It's so simple. It just requires you to think, to plan. This is where planning is important. You're not just going to, yes, today they're going to read this, I'm going to read a storytelling. You have to think outside the box. Yes, you have the motive, is storytelling. You have to think about the interest, you have to think about the children. You factor all of this and thinking of holistic development of the young child. So having watched this video, I'm sure you've now understand how you can promote holistic development in early childhood. So in my next video, in my addition to the different aspects of holistic development. So if you love them, if you kindly subscribe, and not just only subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that when a new video is being dropped on this channel, you'll be the first person to be notified. And until I come your way next time, stay safe and mind this side.